Alright, so Simon Stokes, CTO Smart Energy for a large IT company called CSC. I'll come forward a bit. So I've got 30 years experience working for oil companies, and more recently spent the last 10-15 years working mainly for utility clients of CSC. So the purpose today was to talk about smart energy, utility. Alright, talk a bit louder. Government spending huge amounts of money, utilities are looking at huge investments they're making in the whole area of smart and green. So what I'm going to talk about is why is that happening and where are some of the opportunities. Some of you may be aware every single home in Great Britain is going to have a smart electricity and gas meter installed between now and 2020. That's also going to make lots of opportunities for the areas of smart home, smart city, smart grid. So my purpose of today was I thought, well, it's something tech people might be interested in, startup people interested in. Let's show you some of the challenges and opportunities and see if Syncherts has got any capabilities or experiences or things that might be relevant. So firstly, a chart just to show you some of the challenge. This is how much energy every single person in the country uses on average. So up at the top in green you've got all the electric stuff that sits in your houses, all the appliances and so on. Down the bottom though, what's interesting, you can see the amount of electricity used for appliances and so on is dwarfed by the amount of energy you use for space heating. So that's heating the air inside your house. You then add on commercial or factories, shops and so on. Water heating's then another big chunk of energy. Now today most people, that is done using gas. About 70% of people have gas boilers, another 20% use oil, the rest are using electric, mainly storage heaters. If you then add on, you look at electric vehicles as well, which is currently mainly petrol and diesel. That blue bar shows you how much energy you use driving your car. Then you add on how much energy is used transporting all the things you buy in the shops. So when you look at the energy mix, just saving yourself a bit of electricity isn't going to save you much money. The big changes come down the bottom. And if the government's going to meet all its carbon targets, it needs to convert some of those red and blue bits from gas, oil and diesel into electricity. But that then gives you another problem. So if you look at the chart at the top, this is showing what you've got along the bottom there is the 24 hours of the day, how much energy, how much electricity a typical household uses. Now if that household then converts to have solar panels, heat pumps, which is another piece of electric technology for heating their house, and then buys an electric vehicle, its consumption suddenly looks like the chart at the bottom, which then means if you look at the electricity network on the top left, which is traditionally have a big power station, transmission and distribution network, there's not enough cable to even run all that electricity into each home. You're going to have to build, they've done numbers of something like 28,000 kilometres of extra cabling needed if this bottom scenario happens. But part of the challenge is nobody knows if it's going to happen or not. But if it does happen, it'll happen quickly. So you then need to have something like this. So not only does it create a problem in each home, it also means you need to have a smart grid and smart cities. So there's lots of talk about community energy schemes, smart grids, where the energy can flow in all sorts of different directions. People can have solar panels feeding energy back into the grid. And you're starting to see things. So the picture behind there is Liverpool University have got a combined heat plant that's generating about 5% of the electricity needed for the whole of the city of Liverpool just for powering the university. And it's providing hot water and electricity, and it's all owned by the university, and it's slashed their electric bill, but obviously it creates problems on the electricity network. So where we get into challenges then is the vision people have is a smart home. So what you've got on the left-hand side is, today the government set up a body called the Smart DCC, and that's building a hub that's going to talk to every single home in the country, and there'll be a network linked to every home in the country, connecting up their electricity meter, their gas meter, they'll have a comms hub, and they'll have an in-home display. That's all going to be paid for and provided by the energy companies. The rest of it are things that people can buy. Now another challenge people got at the moment is there's all sorts of things people are talking about with home automation and the use of Zigbee and other tools to connect all these things up. People are still searching for what's the killer app that's going to make all of this technology widely deployed. And you've got people like the manufacturers, so people like Philips, come up with a smart lighting system, but they've said, we're manufacturers, we don't know anything about programming, so they've released an API, and you can go out and people are building applications to control some of this smart technology. At the same time, you've got the ability there, the government are very keen to encourage people to buy consumer access devices. So these are load control things that at times of peak demand, and going back to that chart which had all the high peaks, if you could shave all the peaks off, then you save having to buy extra cable. They want people to do things like have smart fridges that turn themselves off when they get signal from the electricity company, or have an electric vehicle that charges itself up at times of peak demand, but then feeds some of that electricity back into the grid at times of, have I got that right around? Yeah, so it charges at low peak and then goes back in at high peak times. So there's lots of people are playing in this area and trying to work out what are the apps, what are the things that people want in this area, and what are the things that are going to make a difference. And then really to back that up, what I've also got, so I got this chart from the Technology Strategy Board. Vince Cable announced last year they're funding an energy systems catapult. So this is a new body that's going to help people, but there's all sorts of funding and groups out there that are, and particularly they're interested in getting small, medium enterprises investing in this area. So there's lots of support and funding out there, and this is just a simple map, but I can talk anybody through it if you want more detail. I'm going to die 5 minutes done.
Afraid so. You had a little bit longer.
Sorry.
That's all right.